Hello everyone, my name is Shakun and my topic for presentation is Firebase Backend as a Service. The reason I chose this topic is because we are going to be using backend services in our applications, term projects, and the term course of my. So I thought it will be a good learning experience for me to learn more about the database and applications and usage of Firebase. So far, it's been pretty interesting and I'm really glad I chose this topic. Let's start with the introduction of Firebase. It is basically a mobile and web app development platform which provides tons and tons of resources and services like authentication, cloud storage, Firestore, ad mobs, and a lot of resources which helps users develop high quality applications and grow their user base. It is based on Node.js, but it is completely serverless and very easy to use. We can use it for real-time syncing across multiple devices, chat applications, and a lot more things. Now some history. So Firebase was founded in 2011 by Andrew Lee and James Tamplin. It was basically a startup called Involve, which provided an API which we could use to integrate online chat functionality in the websites. However, people started passing on their data that was much more than just chat messages. They started using it to get real-time state across the website. They started using it to build games. In 2012, the founders separated Firebase as a separate company. They separated the real-time part and they separated the chat functionality. And then Firebase was created as backend as a service with real-time functionality. There are tons and tons of services that Firebase provides, like database authentication, messaging, ad mobs, hosting, test labs, analytics, and I can't really cover them all, so I'll be covering a few of them. So basically, developers use Firebase to develop and test their applications because it provides real-time database, authentication, hosting facilities, and a lot of backend services so that they can focus more on the design, the UI, and functionality of their game than the backend services. And then they use it to grow their user base, like sending some relevant messages, invitations, and in-application notification to users. Then we can also use Firebase to earn money using in-applications advertisements, ad mode. Now, the very first service I'm going to talk about is the real-time database. It is a cloud-hosted NoSQL database, and I use this database in my Hangman game. I started with using this database and then I switched to Firestore, which I'll be talking about later. We can use it to store and sync data between users in real time. The data is stored as JSON files and the data is automatically synchronized. So across all the users, it is synchronized. If so, I wanted to use it to get the scores of my users in my Hangman game. As soon as the user enters their score after finishing their game, it is stored in the database and I can pull it from there at the same time. However, I had some problems with this. So the real-time database, the JSON files, they are pretty good, but I wanted to get the top 5 scores of the users. There are some methods for the database like order by child, order by value, which I could use to get ordered values because I wanted the top 5 scores, like scores in descending order. However, the order was pretty weird. It was not in the correct order. The scores were not in the correct order. So I couldn't retrieve data from this real-time database properly the way I wanted. So I shifted over to Firestore, and which I'll be talking about. Firestore, it's kind of the real-time database, except for the fact that it doesn't use JSON files. It uses mapping to store data, and it is very easy to retrieve data from Firestore. And within just few lines of code, I was able to get the top 5 scores of my users from the database. And it is also a NoSQL database, which we can use to store and sync data for client and server-side developments. We can keep in sync across client applications through real-time listeners. It also provides online and offline support for mobile and web. So basically, if you have like internet connectivity issues, some lagging issues, regardless of the network, it will work fine. We can build responsive applications. So it is pretty cool. Then comes the authentication. So this is very cool feature of Firebase. Firebase basically provides ready-made SDKs, software development kits, ready-made UI libraries to authenticate users. And we can use it to authenticate users using email and password, using their phone numbers, and we can get some cool features like verifying the users, resetting password, forgot password. And it has some features like if the same user tries to log in quite a few times, it just says too many login attempts, try after sometimes. It also takes care of the user sessions, so we don't have to worry about that as well. We can also log in using multiple social accounts like Twitter, Facebook, log in with Google, and a lot of cool features. And it's pretty easy to use. I'll be talking about how to use Firebase in later slides. The other service of Firebase is storage. So Firebase SDKs, it can be used to store images and the user relevant data or user generated content. And we developers can pull that from Google Cloud Storage very easily. Now hosting. Firebase also provides their hosting. We can quickly deploy web applications. It also serves both static and dynamic content. Both of the websites, we can also get support for client-side routing. Also, when we use Firebase hosting, it gets a bit easier to use Firebase because we don't have to include all the CDN links, which we have to do if we are using our own hosting. And the Firebase hosting is every site is served over secured connection, so we don't have to worry about that as well. Then comes the cloud messaging. So it is basically a cloud platform messaging platform. We can send messages to anyone free of cost. We can send like in application notification to users, which are displayed to them in their application. And it's free, it's very easy to use. Then comes the cloud functions. So cloud functions basically run the backend code automatically in response to the events which are triggered by Firebase features and HTTPS requests. Also, our code is stored in Google's cloud and we can pull it whenever we want. It runs in a managed environment. So it's pretty good. Then comes the test lab, which is another cool feature of Firebase. So test lab is basically an app testing infrastructure which runs custom test scripts, which runs our custom test scripts on different mobile configuration, different device configuration to make sure that the application we are making runs on all the devices. Then crash reporting. Firebase also has Crashlytics, which is a real-time crash reporter, which tells the user where the problems are, where the crashes are, which helps to fix the stability issues. Moreover, it prioritizes crashes by frequency and impact. So it also takes care of that. It also tells us which has more impact and which occurs more frequently so that we can handle that issue first. And it also supports both Android and iOS platforms. Now comes the machine learning kit. We can very simply integrate machine learning models into our mobile apps. And because Firebase provides very easy to use APIs, we can just include that and include the machine learning kit as well. Then comes the ad mob, which is a pretty good feature. Users can make money using their app if they host on Firebase. So we can get show advertisement from Google advertisers, which are competing in real time. So we can earn money using our app. It also provides some additional app usage data and analytics capabilities. Now, how to use Firebase. So Firebase is very easy to use. In just 4 steps, you can integrate all of the functionalities. Very first step, you have to create an account on firebase.google.com. Then you have to create a Firebase project on the console. Then if you haven't created any yet, you create the Firebase project. Then you add your web application, the application you are making. And to do that, there is like a given code snippet in the Firebase application. You just have to copy paste that code in your body tag, in the end of your body tag to include the web application. After that is done, you can just get the software development kits you need. You can just get those features you want. So basically we have just one script tag. Like if I want to use Firebase Firestore, The whole link is going to be the same, except for I'm going to use Firebase, Firestore, Firebase auth for authentication. So, and you can also find these SDKs, these software development kits links on the internet, which I tried doing. I copy pasted a few links for the Firestore in my body tag. However, what I did, when I initialized Firebase, it was of version 7.13.0, but the SDKs I got from the internet were for 6 point something. The version was different, so it couldn't find my Firebase initialized um, configuration, and I spent hours and hours just finding errors. Why can't I initialize my Firebase? Anyways, so if you are copy pasting the code, make sure you write the version correct. And it was pretty easy to use Firebase. You can just add those SDKs and then you can just get code of the things you need to include. Also, it is very popular, so you can get tons and tons of tutorials on YouTube and internet to how to use Firebase and how to include all the things in it. I'll conclude with the benefits of Firebase. So we developers can create the application without spending any extra money for backend server, without having to have the headache of backend services, without having to manage and scale users, because Firebase is scalable. It takes care of if the number of users increase, we can scale it pretty easily. We have auto backup, we have cloud storage, we can pull our code from there. Our code is not going to get lost. We have fast and secure hosting and a lot of services. So I think it is a very good backend service to learn and to use. Thank you.